waiting on Williams, I guess, is kind of where everybody is at now. You've got your point guard. Everyone's starting to slowly kind of show up. We'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, the difference with and without DeAndre Williams on this roster is kind of wild. I mean, he's coming in for his 5th year. Um, Solid team without DeAndre. They
I
just
mean,
obviously get a little bit deeper the moment he comes on.
right. I mean, by all means, I want DeAndre. I wanted him yesterday.
Sure.
And I said it earlier in the summer, I've never wanted to see DeAndre commit dumb fouls in a Memphis uniform more than I do right now. But I would be fine with where we're at right now, to be honest. With that starting five, I mean, that's a team that is very capable of making a run at the NCAA tournament. Second weekend team.
Yeah.
With Quinterly, Brown, Jones, Mills, TFL off the bench, Jourdain, Pierre off the bench, Jaden off the bench. Like, I'd feel good about where we were at. Yeah, but obviously, I think DeAndre puts you over the top, puts you next, like a true Final Four contender.
I definitely think you're closer to a Final Four contender with DeAndre than without DeAndre. But it's not like a huge gap by any means. Like they're definitely going into the second week with or without him, right? I mean, the potential at least. Now, how that works all out with timing and who's going to play how many minutes, who's going to get pissed, I have no clue. That is one thing that concerns me with DeAndre coming back because there's a lot of mouths to feed. I could see.
Do you think we're already, even without DeAndre coming back, do you not feel like we're there a little bit right now? I mean, given you got David Jones, you got TFL Leonard, you got Jonathan Pierre, like, and that's not like, we haven't even talked about it yet, but there's been a little bit of run, not from us, but from outside. Different people have been talking about, like, does somebody like Leonard, who hasn't, by the way, made it to campus yet, does he make it to campus? Is there a little bit where he feels like he's gotten over recruited? You know, he turned down what I think it was a pretty decent offer from the NBL to come to Memphis. And I think his expectation is to be a starter. So is there any concern? Do you have any concern of somebody like Leonard potentially being like, hey, yo, this isn't really turning out how we kind of talked about it turning out. I'm out of here.
There's always a concern.
Is that NBL door still open?
Oh, the door is probably still open. I'm personally not that worried about it, right? I think that let's say you don't get DeAndre for whatever reason, you still have Quinterly, Mills, some combination of Jones and Leonard. I think it's smarter to probably start Leonard over Jourdain. I think Jourdain is a solid player. He sounds bad to say, but he's probably easier to hide on the list of starters as opposed to putting him out there with the twos necessarily and expecting him to commit, to put up a lot of points. He's not really the offensive guy.
Some would say that was more of a result of the system that he was in at Temple, though.
Sure. I don't think that you're asking him to go out and score like that.
There have been some reports from now granted, again, not everybody's there. I think they've been practicing with 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. But Jourdain, from all accounts that we've heard, has looked very impressive. Shooting the basketball as a leader, like, he's looked good.
The one thing that I think Jourdain can do for you that a lot of people aren't thinking about is he can be your backup 5. Like we just did this with Chandler, right? And I think we saw that Chandler was completely serviceable as the backup 5, despite not actually being a center, just like DeAndre not actually being a center. We did pretty damn well with 2 guys not actually being centers, playing centers. So if Jourdain needs to play the backup 5, have Pierre at the 4, and then you figure out the other spots, like, it is what it is.
If you look at Brown's statistically, like, he doesn't struggle with fouls at all. And I want to say, I'm looking at it right now, I want to say he played he averaged over 30 minutes a game. So it's not like you're asking somebody like Jourdain to go out there and play 15, 20 minutes at a 5 either. Like, yeah, Brown averaged 32 minutes a game in 33 games played last year. Like, he's got that 5 spot pretty locked down. So I think it's very possible that somebody like Jourdain could slide in off the bench and have, even a Pierre at a 4, or to your point, if you want to throw Leonard out there with Jones and Mills, like, but let's be real, we're it's what, middle of July, July 17th. We're talking about
Mhm.
a starting 5. I mean, what, last year we maybe led the country in different starting lineups. Like, everybody on this
Yeah.
team at some point or another is probably going to start for one reason or another. So
Yeah.
it's probably not like we probably don't need to get too hung up on the starting 5, but it is fun to talk about.
Yeah, of course. And not that this is like the end all be all, but Leonard actually just followed the Bluff City Media Twitter. So that's got to mean something. You're not out here following people on
Oh,
Twitter if you're
shout
going to hit the
out.
portal, right?
There you go. That just happened.
That's
Breaking news. Oh
I
yeah,
think it actually happened
he's
like a week ago, but yeah.
he's locked in then. He is locked in. We just need him on campus. Get up here. What are you waiting on?
You know what's funny? I know we were
Get to
just
Hoop
talking about it.
City.
It's like hella early to talk about lineups and stuff like that, but there's a very good chance we get Carl Sharon Font in the two deep or in Ashton in the two deep. It's just fun to kind of work in some of the
That
freshmen
is
and rookies.
Carl is another guy that we've heard people that have been in practice, like especially in the defensive end, and we know how much Penny prioritizes defense,
Sure.
is just an absolute bulldog on that end of the floor. And if
Yeah.
you're going to find
Offers a lot of size too.
as a freshman, I mean, we've seen it with guys like Minot as a freshman. Like, as much as he did hustle wise offensively, like cutting to the basket and like, if you can hang in there defensively, you're as a freshman, I think you're going to get
Mhm.
minutes on a Penny team for sure.
Definitely. And that, I am all for seeing some freshmen play.